Welcome to True Crime and Wine Time. I'm Terry.
And I'm Lana.
Tonight, we are uncorking the truth behind one of the darkest crimes and breaking it down together with you.
One case, one conversation, and one or maybe two glasses of wine to take the edge off. It's time to get comfortable and double check those locks before we get started.
So let's take a sip and dive in.
Well, hello.
Hello.
By the way, the outtakes of us recording that intro apparently are very funny.
Oh, I can't wait to share them because it was funny. And we need to change it because we said one or maybe two glasses of wine. No, I'm only having one tonight. That's it. And you can have the whole bottle. After the court you've had this week, you get the whole bottle.
I get the whole damn thing. I don't know if that's a good idea. It is a high percentage one. But anyway.
Yes, hello. Happy Thursday.
Buffy's here. What? And Lady in Gray. Hi. Hi, Teresia. Hello, Anime. Hello. Well, you guys, before we begin, if you're watching us on YouTube, which you probably are, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss when we go live or have an episode, because we do a lot on our channel, both for non-members and members. So you do not want to miss any of the fun that we have. Oh, it's a hi, Mama. I know who that is.
It's Mama, not Mama.
Whatever. Okay.
Hello, Monkey Butt. I just talked to your brother, Monkey Butt, and he didn't ask about you this time. No. Anyway, and if you're listening to this on the podcast apps, please like, download, and leave us a rating because that helps get this little pod noticed.
It does.
We need the help.
We do. Look at us. We're just two gals being chicks talking about true crime.
That's it. And drinking wine.
You can also become a member on our YouTube channel, which comes with all sorts of exclusive perks, including additional shows, such as TMI, our fun Friday night show where we talk about stuff on the internet. Some people, I tell them I go live, and it's as if I've never said those words out loud. And then Saturdays, I do Llama Learns About. So you can just click the join button and pick which tier works best for you. And also, we want to say a very special happy birthday to Bells, one of our lovely staff members and mods. So if you see her in the chat, wish her a happy birthday. Even if you don't see her in chat,
wish her happy birthday. Hello, Texas girl. So guys, guess what? We have a special episode of True Crime and Wine Time coming up on Tuesday. You heard me, Tuesday, okay? Tuesday, February 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern, we will have a special guest who is going to join us, and she is going to share her story and her journey for justice for Ruby. And guys, I'm going to warn you ahead of time. This story is going to make your blood boil. You might scream and say some dirty words. Your heart's going to break. You might cry. You will also smile and go, oh, and then so much more.
Yeah, it's a pretty wild story. You were telling me about it last night, and I was like, wait, what?
It's wild.
Well, so yeah, mark your calendars for Tuesday, February 24th, and we'll be here. It'll be exciting. We'll have more Tuesday shows too, I heard.
I know. I'm like, we're just testing the water for March, maybe.
Maybe.
Happy birthday,
All right.
So, guys, Llama, why don't you tell us what we're covering tonight?
Ah, yes. What has Llama done to us again? Our weekly edition. Well, tonight we're covering part 1 of 2 of the Stephen Eldridge murder and the case against Maureen McDermott, who is still sitting on death row over 35 years later. It's not a very well-known case. I hadn't heard about it until I was researching it last year. And I must say, though, this is a case that I really think needs to be looked at and talked about more. And I am very curious to hear everyone's thoughts on this as well, because we don't really see a lot of these. But we'll let you guys be the judge.
Thoughts from
Huh?
me. You're going to get a lot of thoughts from me.
Oh, there's going to be thoughts. There will be
Next
thoughts.
week, there's going to be a lot of rants, too.
Probably.
Hello in Twitch land.
Over there in our Twitch land. That's right. We are on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, all over the place. Well, Terry, why don't you start off with what you're drinking tonight?
So, guys, no surprise to anyone, I'm sure. I needed to keep it pink for Love Month since it's, what I need to do. And red wine definitely hates me. So tonight I am having Josh Rosé, which they say, and I'm going to say verbatim, a rosé is crisp, refreshing, and bright like Terry True Crime. Light with flavors of white peach and strawberry and scents of nectarine. And I will say this wine is perfect for me, except for it doesn't have glitter.
I mean, that sounds like you in a bottle, quite frankly. Well,
I'm going to just say, welcome to the channel. Enjoy the woods. I have not been called a MILF in a really long time. So thank you for making our day.
Bringing it back. Well, tonight, because the last 2 days of Couch Court with Llama, my day show, has been absolutely insane. Like, I have lost my mind for the last 3 days. It's been excruciating. So tonight I picked the wine only because it had the highest alcohol percentage at my house. That's really it. That's why I chose this one. But it was a great choice because tonight I am drinking XXL pineapple, which, y'all, this is really, really good. Their slogan, by the way, is more flavor, more intensity without manners. And I was like, that very much captures me this week for sure. So it's a tropical tart pineapple combined to create a decadent, ripe, sweet experience. And it's 16%, and it's still very sweet. Like, it's not a strong alcohol aftertaste. So I'm busy treating myself tonight because I have earned it.
I'm glad you like it, because picking wine for somebody that you only, know what they mention, and you're just like, okay, we're going to surprise them. That
I very much enjoy it. It's delicious.
Hello, Mr. Lackey. You and I need to catch up next week. I can't this week, but we need to catch up next week. We have not had a chat in a while. So put that on your calendar. Let's chat. Let's chat.
All right.
Okay, guys. And with that, let's get into the story of tonight's case, because it's going to be a little bit of a ride.
It is. It is. Now, before we get into Maureen McDermott, let's put her case in a broader frame real quick, okay? Women on death row and the people who were later found to be innocent. Now, women are a tiny fraction of death row populations worldwide and in the U.S. Historically, they've made up roughly 1 to 3% of inmates on death row. Because their cases are rare, each one draws intense public scrutiny and unusual social narratives about gender, motive, and culpability. In my researching of women on death row, many of them sadly are about killing children. Ones that aren't on death row and are on death row, it's very interesting. There's not very many. Now, cases involving women on death row often surface the same fault lines seen across wrongful conviction works, such as mistaken or overstated forensic evidence, which you guys will not believe what some of the evidence is in this one. Unreliable eyewitness testimony or co-conspirator testimony, coerced confessions, ineffective defense counsel, and prosecutorial misconduct. And guess what, you guys? We got all of those.
We got it all.
We're going to have them all. We won't talk about all of them tonight, but we will by the time we're done with all of this. Now, if you want to add social bias about acceptable female behavior, and you'll get extra pressure on juries and judges to convict women on, I mean, they, right? You think,
Mhm.
wow, that must have been really, really bad for her
Right.
to get.
Mhm. So, since the modern death period or death penalty era began, nearly 200 people sentenced to death have later been exonerated and released. Okay, guys, did you hear that? 200 people sentenced to death have later been exonerated and released. Those exonerations show the system is fallible and that the stakes are absolute.
Mhm.
For women specifically, exonerations sometimes reveal additional dynamics, such as domestic abuse history that was minimized at trial, gender assumptions about motive, or plea deals shaped by fear of a death sentence.
Well, we're in a death penalty state. We use it all the time for that.
Yeah, I mean, I live in the biggest death penalty state, and we actually do the job. So
Mm.
that's scary. One innocent person found guilty is too many. So, with that backdrop, here's Maureen McDermott, the woman whose fate has forced many questions and conversations about her guilt or innocence into the open.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Maureen McDermott and her history, shall we? I'm running all things tonight, so I'm doing my best over here. That's not how that works.
Hey, midday missing this week? Terry True Crime didn't even pull up the slides.
There we go. Man, it's like I
It
haven't done
happens.
this in forever. Well, Maureen Miki McDermott was born May 15th, 1947 in Wildwood, New Jersey. Oh, we're always in New Jersey.
Why are you doing this New
I
Jersey
am
to us?
obsessed with New Jersey, apparently.
You are.
The Real Housewives, the Ken Nero trial, and Miki.
Just move there. Get it over with, Llama. Just move to
Now,
your obsession.
now, she was the third of four children and the only girl in a working class family. From the start, she was described by friends and neighbors as kind and quietly steady, a hard worker, devoted daughter, animal lover who took in strays, and someone who reached out to help people in need. She had no prior arrest or criminal record, and by every account, showed no signs of violence or greed. So, looking good so far.
Her childhood wasn't easy. Her father struggled with alcoholism and was often absent, either drinking or working long hours, and he could be verbally abusive at times. Through that, Maureen remained especially close to her mother, a deeply religious teetotaler.
Now, Maureen left high school before graduating. Sorry. And in 1968 moved to California. She supported herself working full-time while attending adult night school to finish her diploma, then trained as a respiratory therapist. She would also regularly send money home to support her family. She spent 7 years at St. Joseph's Medical Center in Burbank, taking college courses and attending nursing school at Los Angeles County Medical Center. In 1979, she earned her registered nurse license and went to work at LA County USC Medical Center on Ward 3000, the infected orthopedics ward. It is there where she first met Jimmy Luna, who worked as an orderly, which is basically like a kind of janitor person.
I'm glad you told me that because I did not know, and I think I'd sent you a message. I'm like, what is that job? There are just so many jobs out there that I don't
There are,
know.
yeah.
But I have to start off saying working in infected orthopedics. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's some work. To those who walk the halls of the hospital with Maureen, she wasn't just a colleague, and she had what was described as a soft touch. Her coworkers remember a woman defined by an almost dangerous level of compassion, a nurse whose generosity of spirit made her a target for anyone with a sad enough story. It was this very naivete Friends later argued that led her to cross paths with Jimmy.
The relationship between Maureen and Jimmy was never one of equals. It's train time.
Train time.
It was a dynamic of a helper, caregiver, and a pathetic character. Maureen was the listener. She took his tales of woe at work and answered his relentless phone calls at home. Despite her empathy, though, she maintained a professional boundary. We need those, I've learned. But she was never once socialized with him outside of those conversations. I mean, I've had some annoying people I've worked with before.
Okay, you
Didn't
don't
call
have
me,
to
but
sit here and talk about me. I'm right here. And yes, I know not to call you because you don't do phone calls on your phone.
that's true.
So,
Oh
no.
gosh, no. Ew, gross.
Jimmy Luna, on the other hand, was a man drowning in a host of mental health
Thank you,
struggles.
Lady Pray, for clearing
And
that up. I'm sorry. She
what?
said Orleys can transport
Oh,
patients within the hospital, assist medical staff, and other errands. Thank you. I did not know what
did,
all they actually did. So
thank
that
you,
is
Lady.
important. Thank you. Sorry,
See,
Terry.
this is why we have an amazing staff
Mm-hmm.
because this team is amazing. Um, like I said, Jimmy Luna was drowning in mental health struggles, including dissociative psychosis, and he carried a lengthy criminal record, a history of violence, and a well earned reputation as a pathological liar.
Mm.
Not a great combination.
Nope, not great. That's not great at all. So Luna's fixation was evident in his documented behavior at the hospital. He was a compulsive caller, frequently reprimanded by staff for making hundreds of personal phone calls during work hours. You guys, this was like the 70s and 80s, okay? This wasn't like, oh, somebody's on their cell phone. Like, no, you had to stand at a wall
With the
attached to the
cord.
cord all hours of the day. He wouldn't have been working. He would have just been on the phone all the time talking to whoever, who knows. Now, while others saw a red flag, Maureen saw someone who simply had no one else to turn to. Her colleagues would later testify that her refusal to turn her back on someone like Luna is exactly how she became victimized by him. Mm.
Thank you, Tech Mojo, for blessing my sneeze. I appreciate it. Oh, Buffy's so alone.
Oh,
At the same time, Maureen had bought a house she had been renting in Van Nuys, California, and she was looking towards a completely different chapter of life. She and another nurse, Martha Espinoza, were finalizing plans to move to Saudi Arabia. Okay. In the early to mid 1980s, this was a common path for ambitious American nurses. A year or two working there promised a significant windfall. Maureen wasn't looking for trouble or criminal conspiracy. She was looking at a travel brochure and a better life abroad.
yeah. When I read about that, I was like, what?
I know I'm like, what? You're going to
That's a
Saudi
thing?
Arabia?
It
I,
was.
I
What?
didn't know it was a thing either until
Mm.
I was like, wow, who knew?
Yeah.
So many things we don't know.
So many things we don't know. And what's wrong with learning new things, right? Well, around 1982, Maureen's social circle expanded to include 24-year-old self-employed landscaper Stephen Eldridge. Hold on, I have his picture. I know how to do this. Oh, there he is. Very handsome guy.
It's a
Now,
very handsome guy.
Mhm. The two met at a neighborhood gay bar, and even though there was a 10-year age gap between them, they quickly struck up a close platonic friendship. Now, as Maureen began planning and possibly preparing for a nursing gig in Saudi Arabia, she faced a logistical hurdle of sorts. What would she do with her home and her beloved pets while she was on the other side of the world? Like, they didn't have pet daycares back then, guys. All right?
No, but that shows you that she loved them because never was the thought, oh, I'll just dump them and leave them.
Right.
She was a good person.
Mm-hmm.
The original plan was simple. Maureen asked Stephen if he would be interested in renting the house while she was away, acting as a caregiver for the property and her animals. However, Stephen had a different version. Okay. He repeatedly suggested that instead of renting, he should buy into the property. Now, after he raised the idea numerous times, Maureen eventually relented. Her reasoning was practical, if perhaps a bit too trusting. She believed that if Stephen were a part owner, he would have a greater stake in ensuring the house was well maintained. One and two do not go together.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the greatest idea,
Yeah.
but different times. Different times, who knows? Now, with the co ownership agreement in motion, Stephen brought forward another suggestion. He proposed that the two of them take out a $100,000 life insurance policy. Now, the stated goal was to cover the mortgage in case something happened to Maureen during her time in Saudi Arabia, which makes sense. You're
Like,
traveling abroad. It's the 70s and 80s.
that is a good decision.
I think so. I don't think it's that weird. I mean, does this whole situation sound a little bit weird and peculiar? Sure, but also not really.
Yeah.
Oh, that does make sense there. Now, at the time, it seemed like a standard piece of financial planning for an international move. However, in the eyes of the law, this policy would later be reframed. Was it a sensible precaution for a traveler, or was it the ultimate motive for a betrayal?
Now we're getting
You
into it.
see it a lot.
Yeah. The relationship between Maureen and Stephen began to deteriorate in early 1985. The friction was caused by a combination of domestic grievances and long term financial disagreements, which can happen. Stephen reportedly became vocal about the unkept condition of the home, leading to frequent arguments between them.
Another significant point of contention was Maureen's several pets. Stephen complained about them, and Maureen, in turn, became deeply upset by what she perceived as his poor treatment of animals.
I mean, I judge people by the way they treat animals, so the buy-in arrangement eventually became a source of instability. Stephen informed Maureen of his plans to sell his interest in the house, a move that would have likely disrupted Maureen's financial security and her long-term plans for the property. By February 1985, the tension had escalated to the point where they were no longer just roommates with a shared investment, but adversaries living under the same roof.
Living with people is so hard.
It is so hard. I mean, that's why I know they say you shouldn't. If I would have lived with my first husband before I married him, I would have never married him.
Living with people is hard, just so
I
hard.
mean, I'm difficult on a regular day, plus the living together.
I wouldn't want to live with me. Somehow Elbow Feet does it. Now, in a courtroom, a messy house or a disagreement over pets can seem trivial, but for the prosecution, these were the cracks in the foundation that led to a violent conclusion. They argued that Maureen McDermott found herself trapped in a financial and emotional prison of her own making, which is not a great place to be.
It's not, and I'm sorry, that is just rude of the prosecutor.
Oh, you were just wait, she's the
I
DM.
know, I'm aware, but I'm just like, it's just rude, okay? It's just rude. The house, once intended to be Maureen's sanctuary and a sound source of security while she worked abroad, had become a liability. When Stephen Eldridge announced his intention to sell his interest in the property, it did put Maureen in a desperate position.
But did it though? I mean, why wouldn't you just buy the other 50? You couldn't get I don't understand how.
They probably couldn't do a new loan, so that meant she had to come up with cash to buy him out.
Okay.
And that's hard to do because let's say if the house is 300,000, you finance 200,000, they own 150 of it, you could have to give them 100,000 cash.
Okay. See, I don't know this because I don't own a house because I'm a millennial. So we lost that. I'm just kidding. Now, if Stephen sold his share, Maureen faced the prospect of a stranger owning half her home, which is probably highly unlikely that's even going to happen, right?
I mean,
Is
I
that
wouldn't
possible?
buy half of a home unless it was an investment property, but not to live in. But I'm an old lady. I don't know. I mean, I
Now,
still don't understand rent in a room, so.
prosecutors pointed to that $100,000 mortgage insurance policy. With Stephen dead, the mortgage would be paid off, and Maureen would own the home outright, clear of both debt and her troublesome co-owner, which, okay, I've seen it before.
I mean,
Wouldn't be the first time.
it
Okay.
sounds minor though, but think about it. The conflict over Maureen's pets was central, they say, to the narrative of her snapping. So to her coworkers, Maureen was a woman who couldn't turn her back on a stray or a pathetic character. Her heart was maybe too big. When Stephen allegedly began mistreating her animals, the prosecution argued that her maternal protective instincts curdled into a cold, calculated rage. That is some strong verbiage, just saying.
Sure is. Sure is. Now, the prosecution's star witness, Jimmy Luna. Yeah, you remember everything we just told you about him? Prosecution star witness, everybody. Now, he would later paint a chilling picture of their negotiations. He claimed that Maureen offered him $50,000, half of the anticipated insurance payout, to kill Stephen, which sounds like a lot of money for that. That's usually not how we hear about these cases. It's like, I'll give you half. What? No. What? Okay. All right.
Okay, we skipped a section, so I'm going to do it. The state's narrative was simple. Maureen wanted her house back. She wanted the insurance money, and she wanted Stephen gone. They alleged that she didn't just have a motive, she had a tool, and that tool was Jimmy Luna, the man she had been kind to at the hospital, a man with a history of violence who is now being recruited to solve Maureen's roommate problem once and for all.
That makes what I just said make a lot more sense.
Stop the presses. Stop the presses. Birthday girl is here.
Bells. Hi, birthday bells.
It's birthday week.
Her birthday is Sunday, but
I know, but it's birthday week.
Show. Exactly.
It's love week. It's birthday week.
Exactly. Now I'll go ahead and why don't you go ahead and repeat the part that I read that I wasn't. I have already done an 8.5-hour stream today. Okay, for court.
She has been broken by the Canero trial. She is broken, and I will tell you, yesterday I was broken from joining her, and I was like, "Oh my god,
yeah,
oh my god,
yeah, my brain's bad now."
So the prosecution star witness is that Jimmy Luna that we just talked about, that that man at the hospital that's a liar. He would later paint a chilling picture of their negotiations. He claimed Maureen offered him $50,000, half of the anticipated insurance payout to kill Stephen. And guys, this is going to court. So I mean, I'm sure they're going to have the receipts.
Oh, sure. Right. Yeah, wouldn't they?
They're going to have, he's their star witness. They are going to have the evidence to back it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, her instructions were allegedly specific and gruesome. She reportedly insisted on a knife to avoid the noise of a gunshot. In a cynical attempt to exploit the era's prejudices, Maureen allegedly told Jimmy to make it look like a homosexual murder. and that she believed the LAPD would not investigate the death of a gay man with the same vigor as other crimes. Her suggestions for staging the scene included carving slurs into the body and of performing a symbolic castration.
Now, there is
Maureen, the
one
nurse, an
right,
animal lover.
but there's one statement in there that I will say is a true statement,
Oh, yeah.
and that is the LAPD would not investigate the death of a gay man with the same vigor as other crimes.
Oh, yeah, true.
Oh, Savage, if you just popped in, I am so sorry, sweetie. He popped in right when we are castrating people. And let me tell you, it wasn't just a castration, honey. It was a full removal.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but there was one truth. So there's often truth in lies.
I mean, yeah, the 80s was not a great time.
Yeah.
Not
Sweet girl, would you give the cat snuggles from all of us?
Mm-hmm.
Because that makes my heart hurt.
Yes.
Makes my heart hurt. Okay, no, Buffy, you're out of control. So the road to the final act was paved with hesitations. 3 separate times in late February, Maureen allegedly arranged for Luna to be at the house to commit the deed. But each time, Luna lost his nerve. Frustrated by his cowardice, Maureen told him to find an accomplice, but gave him a stern warning. No one was ever to know she was involved.
Right. I'm like, okay.
Okay, the meat shield. Didn't Savage come up with that terminology too?
Yes.
So
I think
your meat
that's
shield.
who she was implying. Now, Luna ended up reaching out to his friend, Marvin Lee, who we do not have a picture of. We don't have a lot of pictures of a lot of these people because it was like 40 years ago. Oh, that's not the right one. This one. There we go. This person, we don't know what he looks like. Now, Luna ended up reaching out to his friend, Marvin Lee, but he didn't tell him the whole truth. He claimed an organization wanted someone dead and offered Marvin $3,000 just to watch his back. Eventually, Luna shared the plan to stage the scene as a homosexual murder, including the plan for castration. I mean, bro, Maureen apparently wasn't being stingy with you, but you're going to be stingy with Marvin. Okay.
And are we also not sure? I mean, he didn't tell the truth. Yeah, it's just a lot. So the first actual attack on the evening of March 21st, 1985 was nothing short of a horror movie or a llama episode on True Crime and Wine Time.
It's true.
Jimmy and Marvin knocked on the door of the house where Maureen and Stephen lived. As Stephen opened the door, Jimmy and Marvin forced their way inside. At knife point, Stephen was forced to crawl into his bedroom and lie face down. Luna began staging and cutting Stephen's buttocks and screaming slurs.
Now, after being struck in the head with a 2-foot bedpost, something remarkable happened. Stephen managed to leap up and sprint out of the house into the night. When Officer David Yates arrived, he found Stephen standing in his underwear, drenched in blood. He had survived, but his sanctuary was gone. I mean, I wouldn't even go in there close.
I would just tell you, I would not sleep in that house again. I have a question. Is Elbow Feet have a new screen name?
No.
Okay. So Tech Mojo, you type and say things kind of like Elbow Feet.
Nope, Elbow Feet's just around making noise, as always. That's all. I'm just kidding. Just kidding, babe. Just kidding.
We love you, Elbow Feet.
Allegedly. I'm just kidding.
You just said that on national YouTube. Never goes away. And if he winds up dead tomorrow, they're coming for you, girl.
Well, that's fine, I guess.
The failure of the March 21st attack didn't scare Maureen off, allegedly. It made her more determined. The very next day, she allegedly told Luna over the phone, "We're going to have to do it again. And this time, you cannot fail."
Mm. Now, this is where the secret conspiracy began to leak. During subsequent phone calls about the insurance money and the next attempt, Marvin Lee listened in on the other line, hearing Maureen discuss the murder plan. Oh, what? Oh,
I know. Are we going to get to hear these recordings and all the receipts? Tech Mojo, I love that you love true crime. Love it. So, when she realized Marvin was involved, she was reportedly furious. She told Luna that if Marvin ever talked, Luna would have to kill that N word too. Sorry, guys, I'm not saying it even for the show. Have to kill that N blank too. Even Marvin's brother, Don Dell, was handed the phone at one point and overheard part of the conversation. The circle of people who knew Maureen's secret, it was like Victoria's secrets. It wasn't a secret. And the clock was ticking for Stephen Eldridge.
Now, after the failure of the first attempt, the plan was refined with gruesome precision. Jimmy Luna didn't just bring Marvin Lee back, he recruited Marvin's brother, Don Dell, promising the Lee brothers a cut of the insurance money because the more the merrier. Group projects, I guess.
Sorry about the dogs barking. Someone else's other half doesn't listen to I'm live right now, and you shouldn't be enticing the dogs to bark.
Join the club.
It's Love Week. We love them.
It's Love Week. Just kidding.
The prosecution alleged that Maureen was the architect of the night's choreography. Through a series of phone calls with Luna, she reportedly set the stage. She would leave a front bedroom window unlocked for the three men to enter. To divert suspicion, Maureen insisted on being physically assaulted. She told Luna to tie her up and cut or hit her so she would appear to be the victim of a home invasion gone wrong.
Right.
That's devious.
Why would you leave a window unlocked? Like for three grown men to crawl through? Gracefully? To not make any noise? That doesn't make any sense, but okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, on April 28th, 1985, around 8:15 p.m., the trio climbed through the window. In a chilling exchange in her bedroom, Maureen informed Luna that Stephen hadn't returned from dinner yet. She then allegedly directed Luna to cut her on the breast and inner thigh to ensure her survivor story looked authentic to the police. I think as a nurse, though, you wouldn't be like, hey, cut my inner thigh where my freaking artery is.
I know. I'm like going, as a nurse, you would have asked them not to cut your inner thigh or your neck where the... Yeah, I have problems with it. I mean, the boobs, I get it. Boobs, I get. They're just big sacks of fat.
But your inner thigh?
Inner thigh.
A nurse?
No. Savage. You better behave. At 10:40 p.m., Stephen walked through his front door for the last time. He was met with a terrifying coordinated attack. Dondell Lee met him at the door, brandishing a rifle, which belonged to Maureen herself. Marvin Lee then forced Stephen into a chokehold, dragging him down the hallway toward the back of the house. There, Jimmy Luna met them with a knife. He stabbed Stephen repeatedly until he was slumped dead on the floor.
Yeah. After the struggle, Luna returned to Maureen's room. He found her on the floor with a fresh injury to her face. According to Luna, she wasn't in shock. She was more so concerned with the performance, asking him how the injury looked and explaining she had intentionally banged her head against a table to make the robbery look more violent.
I'm also going to say a woman's going to freak out if her face is cut. Just saying. Just saying. But the most disturbing detail of the night and of the story to some degree comes as the three men were fleeing. Marvin Lee would later testify that he heard Maureen yell from the back bedroom with one final instruction. Don't forget to cut off his penis.
Yikes.
Somebody's obsessed with penises in
Right.
this case.
And do we think it's Maureen? Because we don't know. We don't know Maureen, okay? But I think we know. That's probably not what her interests were. Monkey butt. I mean,
you do watch Criminal Minds and Chocolate Lover, so I thought it would be okay because we're not giving you graphic details. It's okay.
So following the original plan to stage a homosexual murder, Luna returned to Stephen's body and performed the mutilation. He pocketed the remains, took them home, and flushed them down the toilet. A final indignity in a crime designed to mislead investigators through shock and prejudice. I'm going to be honest. I didn't know you could flush that down the toilet.
I'm just like, who would take that home with them?
Exactly.
I'm like, who would take it home with
Who
them?
would do that? Oh, I don't know. Somebody who's not in their right freaking mind that you probably don't want as your star witness.
Who would take that home? It's not like you could use it again. Anyway, while the crime scene was being processed, Maureen was taken first to the hospital and then to the police station. Really? Why would you? Okay, it happens. And then at the police station, she underwent a grueling 7-hour interrogation from 2 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
She never returned to the house she shared with Stephen.
Wait, what? She never returns to the house that she had her roommate murdered so she could have all to herself? What?
No, she didn't.
So
she stayed with friends.
Huh.
Because
So interesting.
But that distance did not stop the detectives from closing in. I'm going to just go on record and say right now, someone needs to investigate and see if Proctor was involved in this investigation. If it was a family member.
It's so much worse than it. It's so much worse than Proctor, you guys.
I know, but it could have been an uncle, a grandfather. Maybe that's where he learned it.
Like, we cover a lot of true crime, all right? And let me tell you what, one thing that they don't care about doing is leaving the house. All right, they'll stay in that place.
That's the prize. That's what they're going for. You don't leave.
Right? You don't want to return back with your pet.
Stephen got attacked before and still stayed.
Well, he may not have had a place to go, but I don't. Anyway, we digress because a lot of that comes in part 2. Now, and I'm doing my best not to be too spoilery with the insanity that is in investigation. Now, Detective Arnold, the lead investigator, quickly saw through the staging. He said, "You don't say. Okay." He compared the crime scene to the report from the previous attack on March 21st and noticed glaring inconsistencies. Okay.
Yeah. If this was a robbery, it was a failure. Stephen was still wearing his gold chain and watch. Expensive electronics such as cameras, the television, and the stereo all sat untouched. The house didn't look like it had been searched for loot. Detective Arnold concluded that this was a target execution, not a robbery gone wrong, nor a homosexual attack. It doesn't say that, but I'm like,
a homosexual murder.
Okay.
Okay.
So Lady in Gray agrees.
Now, the police began rounding up the suspects one by one. Well, over a month after the murder in May, a month later, Jimmy Luna was brought in and questioned, but was then released after 72 hours. Yeah. He wasn't completely off the police's radar, though, and was arrested in July 1985 and charged with first-degree murder and faced the death penalty. Not long after, in August, Maureen is arrested in Pennsylvania and charged with first-degree murder with special circumstances of financial gain and lying in wait. Like, oh, that's not great. That is not great.
That is not great.
Mm-mm.
Savage, you and your music. Love it. The prosecution case relied heavily on the testimony of the three men who actually entered the house. To ensure their cooperation, the state made some significant and controversial deals, and the co-conspirators began to trade Maureen's life for their own.
Oh my God, you guys are gonna flip out.
I'm like, guys, you better buckle up.
Mm-hmm. So Marvin Lee was easy to find because he was already in jail for another offense. What? No way.
Oh, shocking.
And he was granted, hold on to your butts, everybody, total immunity for Stephen's murder in exchange for his confession and truthful testimony.
So nothing. He helped do the murders. He gets zero. Nothing. Zilch. Yeah. Zip.
Like
not
literally helped kill another human being, like with his hand.
Nothing.
Not just, oh, I happen to be there. No.
Wasn't the lookout guy down the street.
Yeah. Now, in August of 1985, his younger brother, Dondell Lee, while in California Youth Authority Jail, was also granted immunity for his testimony.
So that's 2 out of the 3 guys
who physically killed him, admitted to physically killing him.
Yeah.
Total immunity.
Yeah.
What?
In July 1989, 4 years after the murder of Stephen Eldridge, Jimmy Luna, the man who physically stabbed him multiple times and cut off his membrane and took it home with him, pleaded guilty to first-degree murder to avoid a death sentence and turned star witness against Maureen. What the actual hell?
Like, unbelievable. Truly unbelievable. I can't even believe that a deal was made like this for this. Like, I can't. That's crazy. Oh, gosh. Now, by the time the trial began, though, Maureen McDermott stood alone. The soft-touch nurse was now facing the death penalty and was described by her own accomplices as a cold-blooded mastermind who watched from the next room while they did her dirty work. Mind you, they're already in jail for breaking the fucking law. And they're like, oh, we would never do this ourselves. What? How are you going to? I cannot believe that the state relied on these 3 people.
But it's because they have the receipts, and we're going to find that out next week.
Sure.
They've got all of the receipts.
Exactly.
It's not circumstantial. They've got the receipts.
Right.
Do not strike me down. That was not a lie. Okay. The trial of Maureen McDermott was a battle of narratives, a calculated murder for hire plot versus a frame job orchestrated by a pathological liar. Beginning on August 14th, 1989, the proceeding would determine if the compassionable nurse was actually a cold-blooded mastermind. I guess we're going to find out tonight if there's receipts.
Well, not so much. The state's case was anchored by a clear motive: financial gain. They argued that Maureen didn't just want Stephen out of the house, she wanted the $100,000 insurance payout and sole ownership of their shared property. She is a single woman, no kids, a licensed registered nurse. And you're telling me she didn't have money?
She bought this house on her own originally.
Exactly.
She rented it, lived in it, and bought it. She's getting no credit for what she has accomplished. She even didn't graduate high school, moved, did it in night school, and was still sending money home.
Right? It's almost like there's other biases in this story. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Yep. I think the attorneys just cringed so much at the cutting off of the membrane that they let all their brains slip out. To prove the brutality of the act, the prosecution called LA County Deputy Medical Examiner Susan Seltzer. Her autopsy findings were staggering. Stephen had been stabbed 44 times.
And remember, 2 of the 3 people that helped stab him got full immunity, you guys.
Yeah.
44 times.
We're joking about some things because it's dark, but Stephen's family, they did not get justice with immunity deals.
What a shame.
Now, of the wounds, 28 were independently fatal, meaning the attack was sustained and incredibly violent. She confirmed that Stephen's penis had been severed after he was already dead, supporting the theory that the scene was staged to look like a homosexual murder. Maureen's defense team, Joe Ingber and Carol Burkow, took a high-risk strategy. They didn't offer an alternative killer, but rather argued that the prosecution's entire case was built on a foundation of lies because there was no receipts.
Now, the defense's primary target was none other than Jimmy Luna, because why not? They spent oh man, you guys, you thought, those of you from Couch Court that followed me here, you thought the 2 days of closing arguments was crazy? They spent 8 full days cross-examining Jimmy Luna, picking apart his story. Could you imagine 8 days? Just on this
is a trial. I would have loved for it to been recorded.
Yes. Their most significant breakthrough came when Luna admitted on the stand that Maureen never actually asked him to kill Stephen, but rather that he just knew that's what she wanted.
Come at me again? Come at me again? Tell me that again?
Yep. The guy with the psychological problems, documented psychological problems, just said he knew that she wanted him to do it. And is the state's star frickin' witness. I can't even.
I mean, I'm sorry, she didn't ask me, but yet he said they had a conversation and a negotiation. And now, okay. To destroy Luna's credibility further, the defense called 5 of his former coworkers, and their testimony was unanimous. Jimmy Luna was a habitual pathological liar who could not be trusted. And guys, he had a criminal sheet. He was a known criminal.
And violent. Let's put it that way. Like, it wasn't just for, like, you know.
He wasn't writing hot checks.
No.
I'm getting all hot now and just irritated again.
The defense also introduced forensic doubt through Dr. John Ryan, a pathologist. After reviewing the autopsy, Dr. Ryan testified that the 44 stab wounds appeared to have been inflicted by 2 different weapons. This supported the defense's theory that Luna and the Lee brothers were acting on their own chaotic impulses, rather than following a precise script for Maureen. Again, they're already locked up for other crimes that they themselves decided to do.
And they got immunity for what else they did.
What a shame.
Finally, the defense leaned on Maureen's soft touch reputation. They presented her as a professional woman with zero criminal history, a respected career in nursing, and no history of violence. They argued it was far more likely that Luna and the Lee brothers, facing the death penalty, had fabricated Maureen's involvement to secure their own immunity deals.
What? No. Who would ever
Who
do
would
a thing
do
like
that?
that?
Who would do that? The audacity to think that somebody would do that.
These upstanding members of society would never. Now, after a 7-month trial, yes, you heard correctly, 7 months. The jury deliberated on the image of the compassionate nurse versus the woman who allegedly asked for a castration from the next room. On March 2nd, 1990, they reached their decision and found Maureen McDermott was found guilty of first-degree murder and the attempted murder for the March 21st attack. The jury also found the special circumstances of murder for financial gain and lying in wait to be true, and these findings made Maureen eligible for the death penalty.
I'm
Mhm.
going to just go on record right now, Lady in Gray, and say if our lovely and beautiful llama ever suggests covering a 7-month trial,
Fire me.
we are not going to send a sweet baby javelina after her. We are going to send a full Texas hog. They eat meat.
I would never. Never.
The penalty phase was a final high stakes tug of war between two vastly different versions of Maureen McDermott. Was she the ruthless job seeker who would maim for promotion, or the saintly nurse who is a model of rehabilitation?
Now, to secure a death sentence, the prosecution needed to prove that the murder of Stephen Eldridge wasn't an isolated incident, but part of a pattern of predatory behavior. So they introduced a startling new allegation from 1983. That's right. They're like, you know what? We're going to bring in something else, which we'll see how reliable you think this narrative is as well.
Come on, guys. We're going on the roller coaster. We're going back up. Get ready. We're going up. According to the prosecution, 2 years before Stephen's murder, Maureen had already used Jimmy Luna as a weapon.
Right.
At the
Habitual
time,
caller who doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut.
I know, like,
Okay.
she would have gotten somebody better. Let's just be honest. At the time, she was working as a temporary caretaker for the elderly Lee Laporte. Wanting this job permanently, she allegedly targeted the primary caretaker, Dwayne Bell.
Right. Maureen allegedly paid Luna to ambush Bell. Luna slashed Bell's face, throat, and chest, leaving him severely injured. When a resilient Bell tried to return to work, the prosecution claimed Maureen had Luna make a series of threatening phone calls to the Laporte home. Terrified for their safety, the Laportes fired Bell, and Maureen immediately stepped in to take his shifts. Okay. Okay.
I mean, the defense countered this chilling narrative by bringing in voices from Maureen's past and present to testify to her humanity. Colleagues like Dr. Philip Merritt and Carol Kelly returned to the stand. They painted a picture of a woman who was the backbone of her hospital unit. She was said to be dependable, well-liked, and genuinely compassionate toward her patients.
I mean, that says a lot. I'm sorry I put more weight in what a freaking doctor has to say than freaking Jimmy Luna over here. What?
I mean, we'll...
I mean, yes, we've heard some doctors in the Canero trial testify about their neighbor, Paul. Okay, but also we didn't have somebody like Jimmy freaking Luna taking the
But
stand here.
Paul had red flags.
It's true.
They have not given me one red flag for Maureen, because I will
No.
pick out the red flags, because I will tell you, not every victim is a good victim. She happens to be one that's a little good.
Yeah. Now, her brother, Wayne McDermott, right? No.
Mhm.
Oh, yes. Provided a rare glimpse into her personal life. He testified that Maureen was a devoted daughter who regularly sent money home to support their mother. Remember, she had 3 other siblings. All right. She's so destitute for cash. How is she still sending money to her mom as a grown 30-year-old something woman, you know?
And guys,
This, mhm.
yeah, it it would be different if we read that the phone calls were I know it was back in the 80s, but
Mm,
still. I mean, she moved to LA. She could have found a different kind of job to make money if she needed to. Let's be realistic here. Come on now.
right. Now, her brother pled to the jury, just please spare his sister's life, which, oh, that's tough.
Perhaps the most surprising testimony came from those who guarded her at the Sybil Brand Institute.
Mm.
Deputy Margaret Stokes testified that Maureen was a hero in jail,
Yeah, you
having
got the
saved.
deputies testifying for you, you guys.
I mean, all I could think when I started reading, when you did all this, is I was like, people are put in a place for a reason, serendipity, because her serendipity was she saved a fellow inmate from choking.
Mhm.
Deputy Victoria Semenigo noted that Maureen was so reliable, she had been made a jail trustee, a position of high responsibility and trust within the facility.
While waiting for her death row trial. Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Amy's coming in for a score.
Okay. All right. Fair point. Fair point. Now,
But I'm sorry, we're not getting any red flags of Maureen. And guys, I want to be transparent. We looked.
mhm.
So when one of us does research and writing, the other one goes and looks and tries to break it. I could not break it. I could not find gossip, innuendos. I couldn't.
Nothing.
I tried. There was
Except for
even
the
Reddit
freaking
didn't have
words of
anything.
Jimmy Luna.
Yeah.
Now,
She
the
didn't have
jury,
1,000 bottles of baby oil or anything. I tried to look.
right? Now, on April 3rd, 1990, the jury reached their decision.
Nope.
Nope, that's not where I was. Thank you. Normally, Amos is here to highlight where I am when I go off on a tangent because I forget, and that's my fault. Now, Jerry Amato, a former director of the Department of Corrections, yep, another person,
Director.
testified that Maureen was a prime candidate for life in prison, as she had already shown an exceptional ability to adjust to incarceration without causing trouble. A person who is set to face death. Like,
She's not
okay.
Terry because I would not adjust well. The jury was left to weigh the compassion nurse against the woman who had allegedly ordered a man's face slashed for a paycheck and a roommate's castration for an insurance policy.
Now, on April 3rd, 1990, the jury reached their decision: death. With that verdict, Maureen McDermott made history for all the wrong reasons. All right. And also think about why this verdict would be a big deal. All right. She became only the second woman in California to be sentenced to die since the state reinstated the death penalty in 1978. Okay. The
Amy,
second.
I wonder that as well because it was hard. And then I told myself maybe it was because it was the 80s and we weren't all attached and,
I think
people
so. I
still
think they
wrote
were
things.
probably just in prison for like a long time, probably. I don't know. I don't know what happened to him. You can't find nothing.
Yeah. In June 1990, the courtroom of Judge Alan B. Haber became the
Oh,
stage
I got a
for the
picture.
final act of this years-long tragedy. But before the judge handed down the official sentence, both sides were given one last chance to speak,
Did it take
not
them
to a
hours?
jury, but to history. In this case, it should have been ours.
Hmm.
Unlike Christopher.
If you know, you know.
Christopher, call me. We got to chat, buddy.
Now, prosecutor Mater did not mince words when describing the woman she had spent years investigating. She told, that's right, the prosecutor's a woman in the late
She.
80s, early 90s, just also putting that in your mind folder. Okay? Of things that people have to gain
Put a
from
pin in
this.
it.
Just put a pin in it. Be like, what do you have to gain, lady? She told Judge Haber that through the entire trial, Maureen had shown no remorse. Because, they're not supposed to show emotion the whole time, but okay. For the brutal 44 stab wound attack on Stephen. She labeled Maureen, quote, one of the coldest human beings you will ever see, arguing that her professional veneer as a nurse was merely a mask for a sociopathic pragmatism. I mean, yes, obviously, she loves animals, kids in hospitals, the really sick ones.
But she's
She
a
is cold
nurse.
as ice.
They are taught and learn how to compartmentalize and put stuff in a box. Because that's one of the things
Right?
that I struggle with in my other role in my other life, first responder help and things like that, putting it in a box.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
So, yeah, that's all. Stephen's family, who had sat through weeks of gruesome forensic testimony, finally found their voice through Stephen's brother, Patrick Eldridge. Speaking for his parents and sister who watched from the front row, he made a direct plea for the ultimate prize. Nothing we do or say here today will ever bring Stephen Eldridge back. But we want to make sure she never does it to another person. And I do not discount them for those feelings at all.
mm-mm. I mean, honestly, the Eldridges were robbed. I mean,
They
to
were.
have those other guys get away with it.
The people who did the actual ink,
Mm-hmm.
nothing.
Such a shame. Then, for the first time since her arrest, Maureen McDermott spoke publicly. She didn't use her time to beg for mercy. Instead, she launched a scathing counterattack. In a moment of chilling defiance, she maintained her innocence in all of this, which...
She accused the district attorney of verbally raping her and characterized the lead prosecutor as a power-hungry woman with so little integrity. She also claimed that the men who testified against her had perjured themselves to save their own lives. She then looked the court in the eye and stated, "I want you to know I have no fear of dying. However, I wish not to die in vain."
Wow. That's pretty wild. Okay, that's pretty good. It's a good speech you got going on.
And she didn't even have Chat GPT.
No. Now, Judge Haber had a choice. He could follow the jury's recommendation of death, or he could exercise his power to commute the sentence to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Citing the calculated nature of the lying in wait and the financial motive, Judge Haber formally sentenced Maureen McDermott to die in San Quentin's gas chamber.
As of today, Maureen McDermott remains a permanent fixture of the California Department of Corrections. While she was sentenced to death over 35 years ago, California has not carried out an execution since 2006. In 2019, Governor Gavin Newsom Hottie instituted a formal moratorium on the death penalty. And in 2022, the state began the process of dismantling the death row units at San Quentin, moving inmates, including Maureen, into other high security facilities. Sorry,
Yes.
he's hot.
At 78 years old. 78.
35 years. That is
Well,
more than half of your life.
no, she was in jail since 85. She got arrested in August 85. I was born in September of 85.
But she's
Like
been in jail
40
her whole life.
years. All right. She is one of the longest serving women on death row in the United States. And she continues to reside in the Central California Women's Facility in Chowchilla, which I thought was a very funny name for a town. I'd never heard that before.
I wonder if they do Coachella there.
Chowchilla, right? But don't go anywhere, you guys.
Don't go anywhere because, yeah. So we have seen the case the state of California built against Maureen McDermott. On paper, it is a story of greed, manipulation, and a soft touch nurse who turned into a cold-blooded orchestrator of a gruesome murder. But as with any case built on the word of a pathological liar, the truth may be more fragile than the verdict suggests.
That's right. Before we close the file on part 1, we have to look at the cracks in the foundation of the prosecution's case. If Jimmy Luna admitted Maureen never actually asked him to kill Stephen, was he acting on a directive or his own violent dissociative psychosis? Is it possible that 3 men facing the gas chamber, also all former felons and criminals, so it wouldn't look good if they did, coordinated the perfect lie to save themselves by pinning the blame on the only person who wasn't in the room?
And the only female?
Mm-hmm. How does a woman with no history of violence and a career built on saving lives suddenly master the mechanics of a professional hit? Like, it just doesn't. Can it happen? Yes. All right. We've heard crazier. Yes.
It can.
But
normally there's receipts, there's evidence, normally there's stuff.
But why don't you tell us what we have to look forward to?
So first of all, I have to tell G3RB. I'm sorry, I can't. That's long. The price of gas in California, as being a person who lived there for 4 years, it's insanity. Next Thursday, in part 2 of this story, we look at the case for the defense and the evidence you did not hear in the courtroom.
Well, some you do.
Some you do, but
you won't be impressed, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
You thought Aperture did a bad job in reconstruction.
Burgess would have been better than this. We'll just say that. If you know, you know. We will dive into what happens when the truthful witnesses start changing their stories. Because remember, Jimmy said, I just knew. She never told me. I just knew. But earlier he said there was a negotiation. So let's.
Right.
We also are going to take a deeper look at Jimmy Luna's mental state and whether he was even capable of being hired, and examine Maureen's decades-long fight from a cell in Chowchilla and the specific legal errors that her supporters claim led to a wrongful conviction.
And we'll hear from both of them in their own words. Yes. Jimmy Luna's own words and Maureen's as well. So, was Maureen McDermott a mastermind, or was she the ultimate victim of her own soft touch nature, victimized by the very pathetic character who she tried to help. Y'all will have to join us next Thursday for part 2, The Case for Innocence. And in case you can't tell which way I'm leaning.
Oh, I mean, I love to prove people wrong. And I love to be proven wrong. I don't think I'm going to be on the wrong side this time.
I can say, we watch a lot of trials, on couch court and even before a couch court.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot believe they put him up as a star freaking witness. All right. That's when they don't have a good case, because there's no way a modern prosecutor would put Jimmy Luna on the freaking stand. Are you kidding me?
This is one of the cases that I would love to ask the former judge we had on Blevins his thoughts on. And I will tell you, I would love to know what AJ thought of this case, because the amount of stuff that the prosecution does not have is going to leave you guys. You're going to be like, it would be like opening a box of Valentine heart chocolates where you're supposed to have like 35 and there's one piece in the middle.
Yeah.
And then papers.
Like, you guys, wait till you hear you do not next week's show is going to be longer than this one. I'll go ahead and tell you all that now.
Oh yeah, next week
it's going to be full of rants. We're going to break down certain testimony that was done, some forensics, some
doesn't count, sweetheart.
So it's going to be a very wild ride. But why don't you go ahead and let us know how you're already feeling in the comments about this case? You probably need to know more, but
let us know. Yeah.
By the way, this is about all there is on this case available online. Like, I have scoured everywhere. Yeah. There's next to nothing. And so,
I mean, like, for closing thoughts, I know I was like, yeah, I'm going to just have to save them for next week, because there's going to be so many rants and so many things that,
I think, because I wrote as mine, I won't have much to say, if anything, since most of my thoughts are for next week. That's what I wrote, my closing thoughts section. But no, I think one of the things we could take away. So listen, we gave you guys tonight what you're going to see in most of the news articles. Mm-hmm. All right. This is what you would read. This is what you would hear about, minus our, opinions about things. That's what's out there for you to find. But there are a lot of questions within this that you're like, wait, is that it? Is that all we got to go on this? Also, to give 3 violent criminals who have a history full freaking immunity for a horrific murder. What happened to Stephen?
And these are criminals.
We are not downplaying Stephen at all. What happened to him is truly horrific, and he did not deserve this.
Stephen has not gotten justice.
He has not gotten justice. How? How was that okay to do?
Yeah.
Now, just remember, some places prosecutors run for election. Is there politics involved in this? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I have so many thoughts for next week, you guys.
We have next week, and Llama will not be on trial all day. So let me tell you, she's going to be hot, fired, and ready to go.
I will be. I've been waiting for a year. I wrote this a year ago, and I've been waiting to talk about this with anybody, really, because it's hard to be like, listen, there's this lady on death row that I think might actually be innocent. She definitely railroaded. Okay, wait till you guys. Oh my gosh, I can't even.
There's not even one shred to get. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to just say before we go, if you like what you heard tonight, be sure to follow all of our socials and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's totally free. Okay. Or if you're listening on our pod, please download and give us a rating. That helps us tremendously in getting our channel out there. Also, guys, hit that notification button on YouTube, because you're going to want to be reminded next week that we're going to be back here, so your mouse can be laying on the floor. And I'm going to say, bring your drinks, bring your snacks, because you're
It's
gonna be
going
shocked.
it's gonna be what you are not gonna believe it, guys. You're not gonna believe. Oh my gosh. Now next week, as we said on True Crime and Wine Time, we'll be covering part 2 of Maureen McDermott, Guilty or Innocent on Death Row, and you don't want to miss it, as we just said. Now, and next week on Couch Crow with Llama, because I'm done with court. Well, we're on verdict watch, but whatever.
I forgot about
Oh
starting that
man.
next week. Oh
Oh
my god.
man.
Girl, I
Now
got
you
shit to do. I ain't got time for that.
Oh yeah, we all have time for
No
this.
got time.
You can join me and some of my friends as we begin what I can absolutely say is one of the craziest deep dives I have ever done. Even more crazier than the Zizians. Okay, and the Zizians were nuts. This is unbelievable. Every day we read something, you'll be like, what? How can it get crazier? It does. It does. We're going to be headfirst into the Laura Owens saga. If you don't know what that means, please check out our YouTube Laura Owens playlist. I've done 2 episodes already, kind of going over some felony court documents, but it's a nice little teaser test water to get your little toesies wet, okay? Because it's going to be a lot. And I promise you will not be disappointed by any of it. You'll be like, oh my gosh, you're not talking about it enough, Llama. And I'll be like, oh my God, I live here.
And everybody's going to be challenged to come up with a new terminology because she's beyond Bunny Boiler. She is so out there, can't even come up. And I even asked the ChatGTP people. They couldn't give me anything either.
And yes, that's lovely Buffy on there. Rumor has it she's going to come back.
Oh, is she going to be back?
I heard.
I'm
Who
going to
is
say
that
she's
cutie?
not
I
a
know.
cutie. I'm sorry, she is not a cutie.
She is a cutie patootie. Oh, she's a hottie toddy.
She's a hottie. She's a Demi. She's a hottie.
She is.
Yeah. I will
Now
be
that's
back.
what I'll be doing. What will you be doing next week?
I will be live streaming on Monday, February 16th at noon Central Time. We will be streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Kick, and TikTok.
Oh.
Monday, we'll be covering 2 cases from Rhode Island with names that I'm going to have to spend all weekend learning to say.
That's fair.
And I want everybody to stop and remember that just by watching and sharing these stories and the posters that we post on social media helps the families keep their loved ones' stories alive.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, just maybe a tip will get called in and help them get the answers that they deserve.
That's true. That is true. Well, is there anything you would like to say more before we sign off tonight on probably what's going to be our shortest episode of the whole season, which is still a long one?
Probably. I mean, it's only an hour and a half. That's what we're, that's what we're shooting for.
You're doing good.
I want to thank you all for being here with us tonight. And I hope you're looking forward to next week. And I hope you enjoy your Google searches. But come back next week for our deep dive. Until then, please stay safe. Enjoy Valentine's this week, even if it's just you. Perfect time for self-care, self-love. But most importantly, enjoy your wine time.
That's true. Now, also, there's a whole saying that goes, Llama is always right. And I'm telling you, you'll want to hear part 2 of this story. Okay. You'll want to hear it. So be back with us next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. So you can hear part 2 and then be like, oh, Llama, I understand. How did you not talk about this for a year? Oh, I know.
You know what I just realized?
What?
We didn't mention that this weekend for members, I forget at what level, we have a documentary showing on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, we do.
We are watching Kidnapped. The Elizabeth Smart story on Sunday. So if you're not a member, you should go check it out and become a member and watch it with us over on our channel.
I think it's like Cozy Crew Hire or something like that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being with us tonight. Please stay safe. And as I always say, until next time, go forth and be amazing. All right. Bye.